It's been raining all morning, but today we're doing the Hosmorden walking tour. Let's get on it. So here we are on the Hosmorden walking tour. Like I say, it's raining a little bit. It's more like spitting, drizzle, you know, that sort of thing. But it's the first walk we've done. Well, it's the first one of these hikes we've done in the wet. So it's going to be interesting if nothing else. I don't think it's going to rain for long. I hope I don't regret saying that. But the weather forecast says it shouldn't be raining now, to be fair. But like I say, there is a little bit of drizzle. And but either way, onwards and upwards, we'll keep it going. And hopefully we'll have a nice hike. This one's about 8.2 kilometres. So let's see how we go. So I do hate it when there's a choice of paths. So we'll stick to this one for now. There's a lot of roots on the floor here, like really protruding. So they're major trip hazards because it's quite dark as well. And when you're walking along with a camera and trying to keep an eye on the map at the same time, and you're clumsy, then there's a good chance you're going to go over if you're not careful. So later on today, we're going to do another camp, and hopefully, if you saw the previous camp, hopefully this time I don't have a little disaster with the camping stove. But it's not a wild camp because I'm still sort of scouting out places to do them. This one's going to be a farm campsite near to Marden. So I'm sort of looking forward to that, but at the same time, with this rain and wet weather that's come back, it's where I'm new to camping. It's going to be a bit unknown. I don't know what it's going to be like, but you know, I'll film it and I'll let you see, and hopefully it all goes well. Once again, there's something rattling around in the bag, so I'm going to have to stop and sort that out because it really gets on my nerves. There's supposed to be some really nice houses on this particular walk, and well, there's one. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Morning. See, I don't mind this kind of weather. Like I've said before in previous films, if you've got the right equipment, the right clothing, you're going to be okay. So it doesn't bother me too much. I don't know if I want it to get any worse though. Beautiful tree. Isn't that a lovely tree? Orchard's in full bloom there. So at least the drizzle seems to have stopped. I mean, I'm not even a kilometre in yet, and the drizzle seems to have stopped. So kind of grateful for that. Probably mostly because I'm worried about the camera. Even though it's sold and advertised as waterproof, I always worry. I mean, I've got an Apple Watch as well, which you're meant to be able to wear to go swimming, but I never have, because you just think, no, if it all goes, you know, tits up, then they'll they'll always find a way to get out of it. So yeah, I'm always dubious about things that claim to be waterproof when they're possibly not. Right, we've got to turn left here. What about that? Tennis courts and everything. Oh, lovely. Yeah, so to camp later, I packed all my stuff last night, everything that I think I might need. I'm sure I'll forget something, but like I say, I could have done without it being, you know, really kind of wet. Just because this is only the second camp that I've done, so I'm still getting used to it a little bit. And you know, you just want it to be sort of decent conditions, don't you? But I'm sure it'll get better and easier as we go along. Right, there's definitely a path here, but I'm not 100% convinced that this is it. No, I do think we need to be back. Looks like we're getting lost again. I'm not entirely convinced that we're meant to be in this field, so I'm going to come back out just for a second. Although getting this gate open's a nightmare. Right, that gate was giving me a load of grief because it's where it's wooden, it's gone all it's swollen in the rain. No, this is definitely the wrong path. Definitely the wrong path. We need to be back in that field. So back in the field we go. It's all a bit swollen. Right, so I'm walking past this person's house again. I'm sure they'll be delighted. That I'm walking past while they're eating their breakfast. It really doesn't look like this is the path, but at the same time there is a path, sort of. Well, so I did take the wrong path, but a lovely young lady who lives in the house let me cut through the garden, which was very kind of her. You kind of always expect people to be a bit annoyed at hikers and walkers that, you know, they're walking across their land, but she was absolutely lovely. So thank you to her, because she also saved me walking in the wrong direction for another couple of 100 metres, which would have been a bit of a pain. Right, there's a house down here, but the path is just before it. This is one of the little downsides of this, you know, walking through the country using this particular app, is it's not always fully accurate. So but you know, all's well that ends well. First style of the day. Yeah. There you go. Not gonna lie, it does still feel like it's gonna rain any second. It's like actually gonna throw it down, but according to the forecast, what we had this morning is it for the day. So fingers crossed. Oh look, apples. Apples everywhere. I mean, they look alright, don't they? So there's a little path going off up that way as well to that tree in the corner, but I don't think that's the path we want to be on. There we go. If you just look a little bit around the... So this is another thing, quite often it tells you that you've got a way to go, and the actual way to go is a little bit further. Definitely glad I got my waterproof hiking boots on today, because this could have been a bit of an awkward walk otherwise. Could have been a bit slippery, certainly on those stiles. Interesting. Oh, that looks like it's knackered. I think somebody's maybe through wear or tear, but that seems to have got broken. Can you see? But at least we can shut it. Okay. There you go. So we're now straight on this path for what looks like a little while. These are a real throwback to Kent's past. It's glory days of hop farming. I don't want to intrude too much, but there you go. Oh, there's the mud. And the nettles. And as usual, I've got shorts on, so I reckon I'll probably get stung. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? I think this is for dogs. If you lift that, you can get your dog through, which is another simple yet ingenious trick. It's been quite a nice one so far. We're coming up to 3 kilometres, and it hasn't proven too difficult. And the waterproof hiking trainers are a real godsend, to be fair, because otherwise it could have been a bit messy and squelchy. Let me show you this dog style, or dog, I don't know what you call it actually, but let me show you. How smart is that? You go over and the dog goes under. I love things like that. The only problem is when you climb over these stiles, they can be very slippery. So you have to watch yourself. You know, be prepared to slip, because you're probably gonna. So I'm gonna have to change battery. Oh, I'm gonna have to change battery in a second. This one looks like it's about to conk out. Oh mate, those prickles. They catch your jumper, they catch your t-shirt, they catch your shorts, they catch your skin. So annoying. Right. Now what? but this is where the path is telling me to go. So now, I don't know what that little bird was, or even if I picked it up on the camera, but it's just stopped there in that bush. So let's see if we can. It's just sitting there on that branch. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sure it will fly off in a second. What is it, a sparrow? There it goes. It does still feel quite warm, like I've said, and that kind of bodes well for the camp tonight, because when I did the first camp we were bang in the middle of summer, and you know, it was quite hot, but even still I woke up and it was freezing. So you know, hopefully it won't be too cold in the night. They've got that's the only downside with these hiking trainers, is the grip on wet wood isn't perfect. So I'm going to be careful coming down these stairs, because I know I'm clumsy at the best of times. So the last thing I want to do is go arse over tit. I mean, it does feel like the change in weather is fast approaching, or should I say the change in season. It's fast approaching, and before you know it, it'll be autumn and then winter. But in a way I'm kind of looking forward to it, because it's a bit of a new challenge. Already today I've felt like there are certain things that are different. You know, it's more slippery, it's more muddy. You've got to keep your wits about you a little bit more. But yeah, as the colder months go on, I'm sure it's gonna get more like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, it's another challenge, isn't it? So it's probably been a minute since I mentioned the Scotland trip, and that's coming up next Monday. In fact, it seems like I've waited forever. I think I booked it all about 9 months ago, when it was still cold. So yeah, I can't wait for that. First thing Monday morning I'll be flying to Glasgow, and then pick up a car and do a bit of driving, bit of hiking, bit of climbing. I literally can't wait for that. I mean, it's been a long time coming, a long time planning. So hopefully we'll get some really good footage out of it. Straight on. Yeah, I mean, the plan on the second day is to climb Ben Nevis, weather permitting. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Kev, at work, and he said that you know, everywhere you go there's castles, waterfalls, mountains. He said, you know, you'll never get bored of it, the views, and you know, etc, etc. So like I say, I literally can't wait. Going uphill a little bit. I'm feeling it in the legs and the lungs. I mean, this is not steep by any stretch of the imagination, but for an old sod like me, it's a very private home by the look of it. Very private indeed. Let's have a quick look at that view, shall we? Now, we'll straight over into Gore Lane. Even more lovely houses and gardens. Lovely. I've got to stop saying how lovely, that things that are how lovely. There's a footpath there, but it's not our footpath. That's not the way we're going. We're staying on the straight and narrow. Another footpath. The wind up there in that trees, look. I'll be honest, it doesn't feel very windy. I mean, up there it might be, but it doesn't feel very windy down here. There's a breeze, but nothing more. Lovely, lovely, lovely houses. So we've got another stretch of road by the look of it, which is, you know, never ideal. How long is it for? It looks like it's for a while as well. Oh, that's lovely. Red telephone box. Right next to a field. Excellent. And more roast houses. Onwards a bit more. Absolutely stunning houses. I think we need to go down here. That's probably the closest I've been to an host house. I always wonder, when you walk past these quite incredible houses that are tucked out of sight in the middle of tiny little villages, you're always led to wonder who lives there and what do they do for a living. You know, because those places don't come cheap. You know, are they bankers? Are they politicians? Are they gangsters? Footballers? You know, you'll never know, but I always find it interesting, you know, to ponder who might live in a house like this. To quote an old British TV show, who lives in a house like this? But yeah, I mean, they're just stunning. Well, acorns. So one day this will be a very large, mighty oak. One day. Now the fact that we've got to climb over this stile worries me a little bit, because all I can hear is a dog barking. What's down here? Oh, there's some river. Look at all the roots in the water there. There's probably all kinds of life in there. All kinds of natural life. Now it's a very large fenced off area. And as I say, all I can hear is dogs barking, so that fills me with a slight amount of dread, because if they're paddocks, then I know that they quite often use guard dogs. I know from previous experience. I don't know if they are paddocks, but or am I just worrying unnecessarily again? I mean, the fence is pretty high this time. The last time with the Rottweiler, the fence was about 2 foot high. So, understandably, when it came running up the fence, it shook me up a little bit. Ooh. That's muddy. There's going to be a lot of this in the coming months, I think. Of course, the colder it gets, then it will start to freeze, and then it becomes a whole new set of obstacles. Now, I think we have to go through here. What am I doing? Going straight? And we're going uphill. So that looks pretty steep to me, not going to lie. I mean, steepish. It looks like one of those slides you get at water parks, you know, where you sit on a little thing and just slide down it. Except for there's no water. Well, at least I made it to the top. As always, I'm never quite sure if I'll get there, but I did. And let's have a look at the view, shall we? It's a case of spot the host house. From right to left, I can see 2, 5, 8. I can see 8 chimneys, and over here there's 2 more. That's 10 chimneys just in what I can see. I know some places are converting host houses now and turning them into Airbnbs, etc., or private homes. And I think that's a really good thing, because it maintains that connection to the past. Before it's all swallowed up and turned into concrete. Right, let's go through here. See what's what. Those apples. How do you like them apples? So many. There's another gun shop. First one I've heard this morning. But it's not the first one I've ever heard on these walks. I can't even imagine how many apples there are. I mean, just in front of me, you could lose count easily. So in all these hedgerows, there must be thousands and thousands and thousands. I say hedgerows, I mean trees, you know, apple trees, but rows of trees, I suppose I meant. Almost feels rude not to pick one up off the floor and have a little taste, but I'm not going to, because I don't know, just because. So we're coming up to 7 kilometres, so not much further on this walk. It's been a good one. It's been one climb, and that wasn't too painful. There's been some beautiful houses. There's been apples and a few horses. So all in all, hasn't been a terrible walk. There's nothing more peaceful than just sitting by a lake. I understand why people go fishing, because the peace is incredible. Right, Well, that's been there a while. So that was Grovehurst Lake that we just stood at. Dog worrying is no, sheep worrying is an offence. I'm sure dog worrying is too, but I shall be doing neither. It feels like the sun's coming out. Hope I haven't spoken too soon, but it certainly feels like it has. There is still that breeze, which, when it feels like the sun's come out, or it's coming out. We ended up in a daisy field. Never seen so many daisies. So once we get back to the car, I'm going to go to a supermarket and grab some bits and pieces of food, and then probably head off to the campsite and pitch up. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe go for a drink or something. Feels like we're suddenly very, very high. Everything I'm looking at feels like it's lower down. But the sun's shining, the breeze is blowing, so it's all good. Oh my God, can I smell sheep? That's an unmistakable smell. There's sheep around here somewhere. It looks like there's an orchard to my left and an orchard to my right, and there wasn't sheep behind me, so unless it's just getting carried on the wind, I'm going to hedge a bet that there's sheep in front of me somewhere, because that smell is strong, it's pungent, and as I say, it's quite unmistakable. So apparently we're about 500 metres away from the car, so as I said, I'm going to get off to a supermarket, grab a bit of food for later, some bits and pieces, and then I'll probably head off to the campsite and we'll pitch up. Right, so we've arrived. I look like I'm in quite a large paddock, but it also looks like I've got the place to myself, which is nice, because that will allow me to you know, not feel so conspicuous talking on camera and you know, messing about and stuff. So let's get the tent set up and I'll chat to you in a minute. Tents up. It was a bit more difficult than expected, because if you ever go to a mountain warehouse and buy these particular tent pegs, don't. Let me show you. This is the first one that came in contact with anything like slightly hard ground. I mean, the rest of them have gone in okay, to be fair, but yeah, I wouldn't buy them again. So, as always, this is a learning curve. It's a bit of a lesson. So yeah, that's the first lesson. Don't buy these cheapo pegs from Mountain Warehouse. Now, the next big question is the mattress. Now I bought a single mattress from Hill Peak for the last camp, and I spent the majority of the night waking up rolling off it because it was only a single. So I bought a double, and like with many things, I didn't fully think it through. I measured the width, and the width is okay, but what I didn't do was measure the length. I didn't measure the length of the mattress, so I'm going to have to roll it out, and prior to blowing it up, see if it fits. Because if it doesn't, I'll have to go back to the single. I feel like this might take a little while to blow up, so I'll come back to you at the end if it's a success. Success. I didn't think that was going to fit, and it actually fits pretty well. So it took some effort. I'm not going to lie, it did take some blowing up, but we've got a double mattress at least. Good, happy days. Right, mattress is up, and the sleeping bag is laid out so that it can, you know, it can rest and do what it needs to do. I suppose theoretically, because I've got the single mattress as well, if this one for any reason wasn't enough, I mean, it doesn't feel particularly thick. Well, I think it's meant to be 4 inches, but it doesn't feel like it's got much, if I'm honest. I suppose I could always put the single one on top. So one last thing for the I've had to take the jumper off because I was sweating quite a lot after pumping up that mattress. So one last thing for the bed setup is to blow up the pillow. Now I bought this. It's a Funesla pillow. Now it's pretty good actually. It worked pretty well last time, and I got this from Amazon. I think I bought the tent from Decathlon. I bought the mat from Amazon, the sleeping mat. The sleeping bag came from Amazon, Decathlon. The only problem with this pillow that I had last time was that it kept sliding all over the place because this bit here wasn't big enough. You know, the head, the sort of pillow that's built into the mat was too wide, so this just pinged off. So what I'm going to do tonight is put this inside the sleeping bag hood to keep it dry and keep it in place, and hopefully that'll work. But just the fact that I've got a double mattress in there rather than a single that I can keep rolling off, hopefully that will improve my night's sleep, no end. Yeah, as I was saying, so the tent is a Coleman 2. It's a 2-man tent, but nowhere near big enough for 2 men, in my opinion. I got that from Decathlon, as well as the sleeping bag. Sleeping bag is a Activera M300, which it's a mummy sleeping bag. I got that from Decathlon as well. The mat and the pillow I both got from Amazon. So I've bought quite a lot of things from Amazon over the last couple of months, just bits and pieces here and there. So it's not really worth me pointing out everything that I've bought from there, because there's just loads of little bits and bobs. So yeah, let's have a little look and see how that feels to lay on. Well, to start, the sun's beginning to come down a little bit. It'll soon be dark, I think. So have a look at this tent. I've pitched it, and as you know, as I've said before, I'm a complete novice at camping. This is only my second go, but something feels very wrong. So any of you that know about tents, have a look at this and tell me what I've done wrong. Have a look at this and tell me what I've done wrong. It looks to me as if the frame is bending the wrong way, and I'm not sure why, because it's all done like it's meant to be done, but it does feel like it's going the wrong way. Right, so let's get a drink on, and the setup so far has been an absolute mare. I've been having a right bugger of it. So anyway, the tent's set up. Let's have a cup of coffee, and I think that's good enough. It took me ages to get this little table set up. I just couldn't work out how to put it together. But we got there in the end. This is the first time I've actually used this fold-up cup, and so far I'm not liking it. If I'm honest, it feels a bit leaky, which is not really what you're after. And it's holding hot coffee. It's doing things like this. You know, I've said before that, you know, I'm a complete novice to camping, but it's doing things like this that make me realise that there's so much to learn, you know, and there's so much organising to do. You know, I'm sure I've set this tent up wrong. It feels like it's all a little bit skew. It feels like the frame's out. I think I've done something wrong, but I can't work out what it is. So, you know, everything is a learning curve, and if anyone's got any advice, please do drop a comment and let us know what you think, and tell me what I'm doing wrong, because you know, obviously eventually the goal is to do the wild camps, and sitting here now like this, I don't understand how people do wild camps, if I'm honest, because I've had to bring a 50 litre rucksack, my car, and a 30 litre rucksack and a bag of food, and it's, you know, I see people just doing these videos with just with the rucksack and the tent. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, so any advice is gratefully received. So let's have this food and this coffee, and then, like I say, I'm going to get my nut down. The only downside of this place is it's lovely. I've got the whole place to myself, and the only downside is that it's right next to the road. Now I'm sure that as the night wears on, the traffic will get less and less, but right now it's quite relentless. There's quite a lot of cars come flying up this road. It's a shame it's so cloudy at the moment, because what I realised that I didn't do on the last camp was take any footage of the night sky, because obviously the further out of town you come into the countryside or down by the coast, you get those amazing light shows from the stars, and and you know, what have you. And I thought, oh, this time I'll make sure I get some good footage of the night sky, but it's very, very cloudy, so I don't know if we're going to see anything. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's still quite bright, but the sun is coming down, and quite enjoying it actually. Quite enjoying just being here. Gives you time to think. So I've mentioned before that I bought this like camping stool, if you like. Now it's not one of those comfy ones where you sit back in and it's got a rest for your back and stuff like that. It's just a stool, but I've got to say it's really quite comfortable. It's very sturdy. It's really quite comfortable. Look, I'll show you. Glad to finally have a chance to use it, if I'm honest. Anyway, bit by bit the sun's going down. It's really quietened down as well. The traffic has, I mean, it hasn't stopped, so I can hear traffic in the far off distance, but the traffic coming past this road, you know, has gone down to like one every 5-10 minutes. Although there is a dog that's barking constantly, but, you know, I think I can hear some young foxes behind me in the hedge. They're quieting down now, but just now, because I could hear they were definitely foxes. I know that sound. Morning. It's 5 o'clock. I've been awake for about half an hour. The traffic on the road out there has started to pick up. So I think I'm kind of awake now. Wasn't the best night's sleep, not because of comfort, but because it was cold. I didn't feel like I had enough, you know, clothes on and stuff. I'm just waiting for the sun to come up really, and then we'll get some coffee on. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like young foxes. I heard them late last night. I hope they're okay. It sounds like there's more than one. So I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're just chatting amongst themselves. Early morning chatter. I'm just waiting for the sun to come up. It shouldn't be much longer. It should be another half an hour or so. Anyway, let's get some coffee on. Just going to give it a little. Actually, I'm going to keep the lid off because that way it will cool down quicker. Oh, I did just the right amount of water as well. I've got about 45 minutes before I need to head off and get back to work, so I'm going to drink this coffee and then I'm going to get the tent down and do what I need to do.